Good morning. It is just 10 after 8 here this morning, and yesterday all day I wanted to do sort of like what I used to do so often, which was my Sunday meal prep, where I would just look at what we were going to eat for the week and get everything that I could, get everything ready. If I needed carrots chopped for later in the week for soup, I would do that. If I needed some meat browned for something, I would do that. Just get as much stuff done as I could. And guess what? Between church and then grocery shopping and then filming and then whatever else happened, there's multiple people in the house, so things come up, things need to be done. Maria and I we went to a Christmas tree walk. So our historical museum they do this, I think it's called Christmas tree walk or something, and all the rooms of the historical museum, which is an old it's a historic home, all the rooms are just fully decorated for Christmas, and different individuals and organizations have trees. I think this type of thing is pretty common across the country. But anyway, we went to it yesterday. It's the first time that I've ever done it. It said it was the 8th annual. I hadn't even heard of it before, and one of Maria's friends, her family was doing a tree. They did a Northwoods, I think it was called a Northwoods Christmas, and it was absolutely just stunning. They did old black and white photos put onto, I think little wooden or in little frames or on little pieces of wood, and they had skis and just all the Northwoods kinds of things, and they shared a story about their family and the memories, and it was just charming. All of the trees were so beautiful, and then so many chances for photo ops, and we took some fun pictures and things like that. So that happened yesterday, and then I got home and it was whatever else. I think we were getting ready for supper, and I wanted to do deviled eggs. You probably saw that in another video. Tonight for supper we're doing beef steak, and that looks like so much steak, but I just asked him, I said, could you go out and dig around and find the steak that you want to have for supper? And he brought all of that, which is a lot of steak. Anyway, we'll make all of it, and then that should be pretty nice because we should have some leftovers then, hopefully. We're doing deviled eggs, and so earlier today I did the eggs in my Instant Pot, and now I'm just putting together the yolk to go in there. I actually fought it for quite a while, the idea of using my Instant Pot for hard-boiled eggs. And because my thought always was, sorry, that's really sizzly, I'll back away here. My thought always was that, how hard is it to boil eggs on the stove? But you know what it is? It isn't that it's any easier, but I don't have to attend to it. When I boil on the stove, you have to at least pay attention for when it comes to a boil, and then turn it off and do the whole, put the cover on and all that kind of thing. Whereas with the Instant Pot, it's just do its thing. I don't have to worry about or wonder, is it boiling, is it not? That kind of thing. So that is actually very, very nice. Okay, also, I'm doing some fried potatoes here. So this is actually just 3 potatoes tonight, and they started from fresh. So when I diced them up, I pressed a paper towel onto them to really dry them out really, really well. And now I just have them actually on a pretty low heat here. But we're just going to let them cook until they are nice and crisp and done. I put some onion in here. A little bit later, we'll salt and pepper those.
Awesome. They're not that hard, actually. It's hard. The hard thing is just making sure you don't get a white oat.
Okay. One thing that we have found with cooking on the Blackstone, especially for the winter time when you have less light, and we do have lights outside, but still, it's just not like daylight. I think that we might start trying to have some of our Blackstone meals more like during the day. And then even if we do like we were talking about burgers this week, you know, maybe we could do the burgers during the day and then just have the sandwiches and chips and fruit for the supper meal. I know it seems like it should go the other way around, right? But I think that that would be a good idea for the darker months, to use the black stone during the day, because it is harder to see it at night. Here is our supper. Warren ended up only cooking up 4 of the steaks, and we'll just do the other ones this week sometime. We have the deviled eggs. Maria, we do have fried potatoes. And then I have fried potatoes. I put a little bit of onion in that, and that's going to be our supper here tonight. Why don't you just take this now?
Yeah, I'm just going to take the deviled egg plate.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you just set those aside for someone else and you can take this plate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a lot of deviled eggs. Joe, your plate looks great. Looks good. And here we are. A long introduction to today and getting started with doing some meal prep. So like I said, it's early here. We do have plans to go to Emily's today and do some Christmas baking and candy making. And we have to do schoolwork and laundry. So I don't know, something is going to win, and right now it's going to be banana bread. So the first thing that I'm going to prep for the week here is some banana bread. Look at those bananas. They really, really need to be used. And Warren actually was going to throw those away yesterday. I'm like, no. Those are just exactly where I want them for banana bread. The flavors will be so nice and strong for the banana bread. So I have my recipe here. It is, I write in here. In my cookbook, I have a lot of like little notes if I remembered like where the recipe came from or how it came to be. And this one is from the mother of my kindergarten Sunday school teacher. And so my kindergarten Sunday school teacher she has passed away already. Yeah, and so her mother, it's a very, very old recipe. We're going to start with some sugar and then a half a cup of shortening, part butter. So what I have always done is a 1/4 cup of shortening and a 1/4 cup of butter. We're going to put in 2 eggs. I never beat them first. Some sour milk, which I just sour by adding a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar. It's going to have to be vinegar because I think I'm out of lemon juice right now. That's what we forgot to get yesterday when we went to Walmart. Shoot, because Aldi was out. Okay, 2 to 3 bananas. I never crush them. I just peel them, throw them in. Let my KitchenAid do the job. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/2 cup of nuts. We're going to put that into one 9x5 greased pan and bake it at 300 degrees. It's going to go 60 minutes. A lot of times it goes a little longer than 60 minutes because I like it to be done. One thing I don't like is when you bring out a quick bread and as it cools, the like center sinks because it didn't get done enough. That irritates me because what you can't do is you can't put it back in and, rebake it. So let's get all the ingredients in here. I've made this so many times this fall, but here again, I just like to make what my family likes. Some banana bread. Oh, I hope that. Here is my meal plan for the week. Yesterday we did not do the fried egg sandwiches for lunch with fruit, so that's just going to get pushed to another day. We did do the beef steak, the deviled eggs, and the fried potatoes for supper, so that is kind of already off the table. Warren thawed a lot more steak than we ended up needing, so there are 2 steaks. I told you that we're going to do some cookie and candy baking at Emily's here later today. She just informed me that she made taco soup for us for lunch, so I don't have to worry about that. And then Warren will just make those steaks, he said, at lunch today, because we want to make sure that we get those used up. Today for lunch is supposed to be grilled cheese and sausage. I'm going to go down and dig around in the freezer and find the stick of sausage and bring that up and at least have that thawing so that we can have it whatever day this week that we want to do that. Tonight for supper is chicken noodle soup. It is only 9. I have time. I'm going to get that chicken in water. So in this pot, I have a whole bunch of chicken thighs. They are boneless, skinless, which means that I'm not going to have like all that yummy bone broth in this soup. That's just the way it is today. That's what I have. It worked so well when I made that turkey noodle soup during deer season to just chop all my vegetables real tiny. Everybody, like when I say everybody, I mean the kids. I like a good chunky soup, but I noticed that the kids really gobbled up.
Wow.
You too? You like a good chunky soup?
Yeah, chunky soup.
I know, me too, Joe. But I noticed that both Peter and Maria really gobbled up the soup, and I think it was because, well, it was delicious because it had all that good, you know, bone broth and everything, which made it so good. But I think it's because the vegetables were so small. So I just have some carrots, onions, and celery here. We are going to chop this up pretty tiny. That is good. If there's a big chunk of carrot, I can just chop it as I put everything in. And I know it kind of makes everything look all kind of one color sort of, but once you put it in the soup, it all kind of evens out. I like to wash my food processor immediately. I really just run it under really hot water, and that gets it nice and clean without it just cluttering up the counter waiting for somebody to put it into hot soapy water. I just rinse it immediately and it's nice and clean. Hey Joe, you could come and put away all the dishes here. That's your job, you know. But don't put this away because that has to dry. Oh, you're still eating. All right, you finish eating and then you can do that. I don't have time to do some homemade bread, which is what I had planned for to go with the soup tonight, but I did buy at Aldi yesterday a couple of those long baguettes. They had them $1 off or something because they were broke. So when we get home tonight, I will just pop that into the oven. There's little instructions on that bread, like $3.50 for 7 minutes or whatever it is. I'll just do that and we'll just have that hot bread with the chicken noodle soup. That will be just fine. Kluski noodles, those are some of the best. They don't have the brand that we used to always get, like when I was, well, the ones that my grandma always got. I can hardly ever find those anymore. And I recognize the bag. I don't know the brand, but I just recognize the bag. But now it's always the Essenhaus or the Inmade, which are both very good. I mean, I don't have a problem with either one of them, but I just always remember the bag my grandma bought, and I always liked that bag. And I liked the texture. They were a little bit different texture noodle. All right, I'm gonna go to the freezer. I'm gonna get a package of bacon for the fried egg sandwiches. I'm gonna get the sausage for the day that we have the grilled cheese. And then when I get back up here, I'm going to slice the cheese. And that is it. I'm not gonna get anything else ready for the rest of the week because, like I said, we're already kind of like pushing a couple things. We're actually pushing 2 lunches because we're pushing yesterday's lunch to another day, and then we're pushing today's lunch to another day because Warren's gonna do those steaks and I'm gonna be with the kids over at Emily's and she made us lunch. And that's kind of how it goes with the meal plan. That's how it goes. And so sometimes if I prep too much at a time, then that can be problematic because then it's like, oh no. Hi Joe, you're watching me dig through my freezer, huh? I can't find the sausage.
Sausage?
I cannot find the sausage.
Huh?
I've got so much chicken in here right now.
How smell like toothbrush?
And I've got blueberries in here.
How smell like toothbrush?
Well,
Apples smell like toothbrush.
it doesn't smell like a toothbrush.
Yes.
Hamburger.
recipe that never needs to be.
Banana bread, I just pulled that out of the oven. And so this was in for probably an hour and 15, maybe even a little bit longer. And it finally was just exactly how I wanted it there. I just pulled all the chicken thighs out. I have the noodles going. I have mixed results when it comes to just putting the noodles right into the soup and kind of bringing it to a boil that way. Just mixed results. Sometimes it works out really great. Other times the noodles will seem a little bit kind of like gummy or something. So today I opted to cook them separately, and then I'll add them in. I have all my vegetables in over here, and look at how tiny all those pieces are. Well, as I pull it up, there are some really big carrots, so I do need to cut some of those here yet, but otherwise everything is nice and small. It's going to cook quickly. I'm just letting this cool just a bit. I'm going to get that shredded, get that put back into there, get the noodles put in. I'll put a cover and put it in the fridge. And then when we come home tonight, that will be ready. I thought that I was going to get to all the hamburger because I have it thawed here, but I'm actually going to just pop that back into the refrigerator, and we'll have to work on that later. That is for meals for later in the week anyway. One of them is going to be for hamburgers. Another one is going to be for this ramen crockpot recipe. Another pack is going to be for, what's the other one's going to be for? One is going to be for chili and one is going to be for lasagna. So that is, so that's what's happening. I'm going to put that back in the fridge though.
Real picture, and it just looks yellow because that's from the atmosphere. It's called like something, I don't know.
It's going to be lunch here in just, well, I need to make some lunch right now. We have a little bit of leftover chicken noodle soup, and I'm just looking at my meal plan here. Let me show it to you guys. We still have not done the fried egg sandwiches and fruit. We did that. We have not done that. I can't find the sausage. It's got to be somewhere in the freezer, but I just can't find it right now. We did the chicken noodle soup. Did not do homemade bread, but I did do baguette. We did not do the salad mixes and ramen. We didn't do that. We didn't do any of that yet. Yeah, we haven't done any of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do today here, since we just have such a small amount of soup, we are going to do this meal right here. Fried egg sandwiches. Fruit is going to be, I have an apple over here, bananas, and grapefruit. So I'm going to kind of cut up and make sort of a platter of that, and we will have that along with our fried egg sandwiches. Well, that all happened very, very quick. I served lunch, forgot to get any kind of picture. Everyone was just kind of taking their sandwich and fruit and everything kind of as they were getting made, and I didn't get any filming of that. But they were delicious. They're all gone. All we have left is a few strawberries over there. Otherwise, we ate up the soup, we ate up the bread, we ate up all of the egg sandwiches, and it was delicious. So make those. Make egg sandwiches. They're so good. All right, at this point, I was just, again, referring to my meal plan, and we're going to do hamburgers tonight on the Blackstone. It's going to be snowing and snowing tomorrow, and I thought it would be good to just do that tonight, and then the other nights we can do like chili, and we can do lasagna, and everything will be good. All right, so 1 1/4 cups of milk. I have been using water and powdered milk. I just find that it's a good, inexpensive way to make bread without using up our milk. An egg, 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of butter, a very, very scant 1/4 cup of sugar, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 3 3/4 cups of bread flour, and 1 1/4. And then I usually, I guess how I tend to measure yeast is a little extra, 1 1/4 kind of heaping. Get that all into the bread machine here, and then I just press dough and get it started. A number of you have said that you have been finding bread machines, purchased some on Black Friday, I've found a couple at thrift stores and things like that. I just saw another one for sale at Facebook Marketplace for $17. So the description for that $17 bread machine said, got this as a wedding gift and never ever used it 12 years ago. So I was like, that is just the perfect kind of thing. It's been sitting there. It's an older one. It's probably made nice and heavy duty. Anyway, get yourself a bread machine. You will not be sorry. For making the dough, I have never been a huge fan of baking the bread in the bread machine. I know, like my grandma, I remember her getting a bread machine and she would bake it in the bread machine and seemed to have good luck. And when we were first married, I did bake it a lot in the bread machine and it was good. It's just the crust was very, very, very crunchy and sometimes bordered on just too hard. One thing I like to do with my bread machine is to use a little spatula, about 5 minutes in, and just scrape the sides, just because sometimes something way in the corner, a little flour in the corner and yeast might just get stuck and not want to incorporate. So always, like within the first 5 to 8 minutes, do a little check. Over here, I just scrubbed up some potatoes, and along with our burgers tonight, we're going to do half potatoes. So for this, what I like to do is pour some oil onto my pan and then season that up. Today I'm going to use some seasoned salt, some buttered garlic, grill seasoning, and pepper. And I just season that oil, a little pool of oil I made. A good amount of this butter seasoning. Ooh, that smells good. It's got a little bit of a red pepper smell. And then a good, let me show you what that looks like. And then for the potato, you see I could cut it this way, but it's going to be, you know, see how thick that is? I kind of stand it up the way it doesn't want to lay, and then I cut it that way so I can get more surface area. Come on. I don't usually use this knife for potatoes, but I thought it would work really well, but it's not. That's weird. Ah, my potato doesn't look very good. Okay. All right, this potato is not very good. Okay, that chunk is fine. So I want a lot of surface area, and then I just come over here and I just kind of take that first potato and I rub that seasoning and oil all over the pan so that when I put down the next potatoes, every potato gets a little bit of that oil and seasoning. Well, I actually bought these potatoes at Quick Trip. They had a sale, potatoes, 99 cents for 5 pounds, and they have not been very good. And yeah, there's another bad one. So you can see there's no real recipe for this. Just smear it around. I'm getting this ready early. This can just sit on the stove top until it is time to put these in. I'll put these in at 400 degrees, and they're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna cut that little section off of that potato too. There we go. I'll put these in at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. They can usually go up to an hour. It kind of just depends on what we're making with it. I'll keep them in there a little longer if I want to keep them hot. I have all of the hamburger, the ground venison I took out the other day is right there. I put 5 pounds into my Dutch oven for chili, lasagna, and this ramen noodle crockpot recipe that I want to try. And now I'm just going to dice up this big onion here. I would call this actually probably like a medium to large. I'm going to get this cut. And since I just did onion, I'll do a red onion for our burgers tonight. Nice thin. Do some lettuce. Put some pickles. I'll let the lettuce just drain on this towel here. Let's see, we'll do a little bit more. I just separated out the hamburger that I need for the crock pot recipe and for the lasagna. I'm not going to put those together today. I have a few presents to wrap as well as a video to edit today. Yeah, and things to do this evening. So I will make these on the day of, but I just separated that out. I am going to put together the chili today though, right here in the pot that I was using because I'm going to. And I want it to sit overnight because we're probably going to have the chili tomorrow. When it is snowing. Joe's phone, he doesn't have a phone. Joe's radio just alerted. Something on there. His radio just alerted and they were saying 5 to 8 inches, which I thought just this morning they were saying like 2 to 5. So maybe he was on a station.
8 inches?
I know. Maybe he was on a station that isn't our area. I don't know what station he was on, but
I'm 105.5.
well, maybe, which is our area. Yeah. So I don't know, but that's what it said. It came on. It went doo 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 doo, and then gave the weather report 5 to 8 inches tomorrow. So we'll be having chili. I just have a few of these jars of tomato soup left, which I actually don't really like. But if I do 1 can of condensed tomato soup and then 1 of these, I can kind of overpower the flavor with the other seasonings and things like that. I also have 2 jars of
Mom, it didn't work.
Maybe you didn't get it quite on there. After this, I think I only have a couple left, which is really going to be a bummer.
There's scoops like that?
A little bigger. You want it to look like about the size of a cube. A little more than that. No, that still doesn't look like a cube. 1, 2. That looks like a cube. Yeah.
That looks like, honestly, it looks like animal lure.
And that's it. All the ingredients came together. This recipe is on page 9 in cookbook 1 if you guys are interested. Tomorrow I will boil up 2 cups of elbow macaroni and add that to it and you know, get this nice and hot and bring it to a simmer. I'm not heating it today. We're just going to pop it right into the fridge and bring it out tomorrow. It looks a little bit loose right now, I would say, but once we put the macaroni in and simmer it away for about an hour, it'll be just right.
Yeah.
This big one, this is that enormous 21 by 15 inch baking sheet, and it is coming in handy for all kinds of things here. I'm going to put these into my oven. Now that I have an oven light, I'm going to turn the oven light on and let these rise for, they're probably going to take an hour tonight, I think. So as I was making all of these venison burgers, it dawned on me that I had wanted to make beef burgers on the Blackstone, and then the chili and lasagna and crockpot dish would be with the venison. And when I was counting up the pounds of meat I needed, I just thawed all venison. So anyway, venison burgers tonight. It's actually been a while since we've had venison burgers. We're going to do something a little bit different here. I sliced butter very thin, and then I think after Warren flips them, we both had different ideas of how it should be done, but after he flips them, he is going to put a pat of butter onto kind of the cooked side. So as the second side cooks, then the butter will just kind of like melt down into it. You can tell when the potatoes are done because what they want to do, well, I already released that one, but what they want to do is kind of naturally, I call it, release, which means that they have like a nice browning on the bottom and they don't just completely stick. So see, that one's great. These definitely, your pan definitely is going to get very, very dirty from this. So there's that one too. All right, so these are done. They were in for about 40 minutes tonight. Maybe almost 45 actually. I think 43. We have the hamburger buns. I'm going to get those sliced. And then I just put out some toppings here. And we've got a couple different cheeses, and here are the burgers, and that is going to be our supper. I originally thought that I was going to do green beans with this, but since we already have the lettuce and we have the onion and potatoes, I was like, I'm just going to skip the green beans and save those for a time, because you know those won't go bad because they're in jars on my basement shelf. So those are not going to go bad, and I just want to use up like some of the fresh things right now. So that's what we're doing for supper tonight.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Good morning. I have my crock pot out here, and I'm going to be putting together this hamburger ramen recipe. So I have my already browned, this is ground venison, and I have an onion in there as well. And that is about a pound of meat. I'm also going to salt and pepper the meat. It didn't say to do that, but I'm going to do it. It calls for 9 ounces of a coleslaw mix. This is 14 ounces. It also says, or 4 cups. And 2 cups of shredded carrots. Now there are carrots already in that coleslaw mix, but 2 more cups. Three cloves of garlic minced, so that is about, my band-aid is falling off here, that is about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic. All right, so a 1/3 cup. Of soy sauce. We're just going to drizzle that kind of all over. And then 2 cups of a chicken stock, and I'm just going to stir that in to dissolve. Pour this. You know what? I'm actually going to put, it also calls for a teaspoon of brown sugar. I'm going to put that in there and stir that in because I want that sugar to dissolve so it can kind of spread throughout the whole dish. That is it for right now. What do you guys think? Is this going to be good? Just trying this for the first time. It sounded like something that I would like. We'll see with the rest of the family, and I guess we'll see what I think too. I'm in a hurry here to get this put together so I can go out and deal with the car. I'll tell you about that in just a second. It has been quite a day. The boys both had dentist appointments. We actually are not able to find a dentist in our area that is accepting new patients, so we have to go to like another town. Okay, it's not that far. I mean, it's probably about 40 minutes or so. Yeah, we're out and about all day long. Now kids had a homeschool Christmas party. That's just for the teens, or at least the middle school and teens. So they are at that. And I came home to attend to the crockpot and just to come home, and now I have to air up the tires or whatever because it was reading low tire pressure. I stopped at Emily's, aired it up, it's still reading low tire pressure. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I have to get out and deal with that. Here's this recipe. So this has been going for 4 hours exactly on low. Warren actually turned it on for me today because I was going to be gone, and I'm just going to get it stirred now. I can see it, well, I guess once I add the noodles, it's going to make quite a bit. All right, so it smells good. It smells very, very simple. Now, the recipe says to use 2 blocks of ramen noodles and to just save the packets. Now, I honestly feel like a couple of, if I had beef ramen noodles, I would probably do 2 blocks of ramen noodles with 1 seasoning packet. And honestly, maybe it doesn't even matter. But I'm just going to set these, nestle these in here, which is just like kind of what they showed. Is to just nestle them down in, turn it to high, and then let it go for another 5 to 15 minutes. Which is just about the amount of time I'm going to need. Sam came in, and I thought maybe he was going to go over by the car, but it looks like he's doing something with his truck. All right, well, he's outside, so I'm going to go catch him and see if he can also help me. Warren got, he bought a new air compressor. I mean, it's been a while already, but I don't really know how to use the new one. It's just different. It's like bigger. It's just a different setup. I know how to use the old air compressor. I'm trying to think if I know where the old air compressor is right now. I don't know if I do. So I know Sam knows how to use the new one. So let me go and do that. I'll be back and we're going to taste this. And if I need to, I may add one of these little packets. We'll see. It's been definitely 10 minutes. So we're going to see how that is looking. Okay, those got soft. I feel like we need to... There we go. Get them down into the liquid. All right, we're going to give them just a couple more minutes to get all the way soft. I just heard Warren say, I'm interested in trying a new recipe. I don't know if he meant it or not. So we're going to dish this up, and I'm hoping I can get Sam out here too to give it a try, and we'll let you know what we think. You're going to try it first?
Hey, wait for me.
Oh, we're all trying it like 3, 2, 1?
It's kind of like doing a shot.
Is that sauerkraut?
It's very hot.
It's hot.
Is this sauerkraut in here?
It's good. I like it.
Really?
It's good if you're hungry.
It reminds me of like chow mein noodles.
Oh.
No, it's good. Yeah, it reminds me of chow mein.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
A little
it is
bit.
a little salty.
It is a little salty.
I'll give you that.
Or soy sauce in it?
But it's good. It's just too hot to eat right now.
It's a little toasty.
Would it be something we would eat and make again? That's the question.
You could make this again. I like it.
Yeah.
You like it enough that...
I'd eat this again. Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
it had different vegetables in it too?
Is this chicken ramen or beef ramen?
This is chicken.
I like it.
All right.
What all vegetables are in this? Carrots and onions?
Carrots, onions, and there's a little bit of cabbage.
Not tasty.
That's what you taste?
Yeah, it's too hot. Let it cool.